Well, hello, friends, and thanks so much for joining me here today for Foundations of Digital Marketing Success. Review, plan, execute. Now, this is something that I hope becomes a bit of a mantra for you. But first, a story. So last year, I participated in a yoga challenge. I did this so I could not only improve my health, but also get a discount on my monthly rate. I was very excited about this, so much so that this is what I thought I'd look like doing yoga. Unfortunately, this is what I look like doing yoga. Now, regardless of what I look like, I was actually given a card to track my progress. They came up with this perfect plan. Now, in a perfect world, I would need to complete 15 classes per month to reach the goal. But as I'm sure you know, things don't always go according to plan. And so, between family, commitments, travel, sometimes getting sick, I would miss a class here and there. And so, month to month, I would go and review my progress, make any necessary adjustments to my plan for the following month, and then I'd get to work scheduling classes so I could execute on this plan. Now, as I was doing this, I was like, this process feels familiar. Now, I've been fortunate to speak with many successful business owners about what it really means to market their businesses, even when marketing's not their thing, and how they actually reach their goals. Now, most recently, I've been doing this during the Be a Marketer podcast. And I've spoken with people like Marianne Murnick Sullivan, who owns a consignment shop in Rhode Island. And she is reviewing what's happening in her business and making regular adjustments as she finds necessary. And then I've also been talking to people like Nicole Stevenson, who runs markets for creative entrepreneurs. Now, she works with the team to break the plan down into smaller tasks, preferably things that can be completed in an hour or less. And I've also talked to people like Tamika Catchings, an Olympic gold medalist and WNBA Hall of Famer turned cafe owner. And she knows that you need to schedule the work that you care about to make things happen. And so here's what we're going to cover today, because what if you start to apply the same approach to your online marketing efforts? So we're going to talk about reviewing your online marketing approach and tools. We're going to talk about planning your marketing efforts to support your goals, and also executing simple actions to boost your marketing productivity. My name is Dave Charest. I'm the Director of Small Business Success at Constant Contact and also the host of the Be a Marketer podcast. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn, so please do reach out to me there. And if you'd love to get a copy of these slides, please do shoot me a DM and I'll be happy to send those to you as well. Now, why is this stuff important? Well, Constant Contact's latest research shows the following. The 2024 state of marketing is this: 56% of the people that we've talked to have an hour or less to spend on marketing. 73% of the small business owners we spoke to feel iffy about their marketing strategy. And 52% procrastinate on marketing. Now, it's likely you may find yourself in a similar scenario. And so I want to give you some foundational things to focus on so you can feel more confident and do things that'll actually have an impact for you. Now, as I talk through things here today, write down the things that you may want to try, change, or improve, whatever. We're going to come back to those at the end. And P.S., fair warning, I'm going to do my best to stretch this yoga analogy throughout the presentation today. So let's get to it. Reviewing your online marketing approach and tools. Now, in my yoga class, the instructor often talks about the first step is understanding where your body is at a particular moment. Once you know where you are and where you want to go, you can set the GPS to get you there. And the same is really true for marketing. So here's what we know today. Word of mouth is happening online. And so you want to make sure you have the right tools in place so you can keep your business top of mind and be part of more of those conversations and eventually influence more people to do business with you. Now, at Constant Contact, here's an approach that we've seen work for small business owners again and again. And it goes like this. We call it engagement marketing. And essentially, wherever you have a connection with your client or your customer, this could be at the store, it could be online. You want to provide them what we call a wow experience. And this just means creating an experience that they're going to be excited about, something that is good for them, right? A good experience. And sometimes that just means saying hello when somebody walks in the door. The bar is pretty low these days. And so make sure you're providing this great experience. And when you do that, that's a great opportunity to entice them to stay in touch with you. That could mean following you on a social channel. Better yet, it could mean collecting an email address or even a text or a mobile number, right? When you have that information, you're able to engage with them on a regular basis. And it's through those engagements that your business stays top of mind and you bring people back to your store. Now, the interesting thing here, of course, is now that many of these things are happening online with the form of social channels, of course. And so that drives some social visibility for your business as well. And that increases your exposure, which allows you to connect with new prospects and bring more people to your door. And this process repeats itself over and over again. And so at a base level and a foundational level, this is what we're trying to do with marketing. Okay. So how do we use these tools to help us? Well, we're going to focus on 3 tools today. We're going to talk about social media, of course, because this is where you engage and reach new people. But you have to be wary because today's social channels are driven primarily by algorithms, and you really don't own those connections that you have. And so you should always be trying to move potential customers closer to your business. We're also going to talk about a website. Now, your website is where people turn to learn more about your business. It's really that online hub that allows people to confirm that you're the right business for them. And we want to make sure that's mobile responsive so that they can look at it on any device that they may be using and see it properly. And then, of course, there's email and text marketing. Now, these tools allow you to reach your customers directly and keep your business top of mind and point them toward taking the actions that you want them to take. So you need to make sure that you're collecting emails and mobile numbers to contact people on your terms. Now, the ultimate goal here is really to use these tools to bring people closer to your business. And so you want to learn about the strengths and lean into those strengths as you're using these channels. And so if we look at social media, I mentioned it's good for some things, but again, limited by algorithms. And so it's good for public actions, engagement, and reaching those new customers. Email is good to reach people directly and be more robust in what you're offering in terms of messaging in there, but you're often competing in a crowded inbox. And text is really timely and allows you to get attention right away. But you got to be careful because you don't want to abuse that power because it'll turn people off. And so you'll want to review how you're using these channels together to reach your goals. So how are you doing with your efforts based on what we've highlighted here in terms of marketing? Well, you can really start to ask yourself the following questions as we review what's going on here. Is one social channel performing better than others? I'll talk more about that. Are you moving people to your own channels? Do you have a path to that place where you own that relationship? Is your website mobile responsive? Are people taking the next step when they get to your website? Are you sending emails or texts on a regular basis? And are people taking the actions that you want them to take when you are sending those messages? So remember here, as we're reviewing what's going on, you want to make sure that you're trying to do things that allow you to bring people closer to your business. You also want to use the right tools to communicate and engage. And you want to review how your efforts are working together. Okay, let's move to the next section here on planning your marketing efforts to support your goals. Now, in my yoga class, we always do the same 26 postures and 2 breathing exercises. Although it's the same each time, it's also different because, well, every body is different. And it's similar when it comes to marketing. The tools are the same, but how you use them changes. Ultimately, your specific goals are going to set your strategic plan. So let me give you an example of what I mean here, or some examples. Let's say, your different types of businesses really have different goals at different times. And so what you're trying to do really determines what you'll need to do. So for example, let's say you're in the business to consumer space and maybe you're opening a new location. Well, the list of items that you'll need to accomplish is a little bit different than, say, a B2B store that's maybe launching an event, right? So you're going to have different tasks and different goals and different things that you'll need to do to support whatever that goal may be. And if you're in the nonprofit space, whatever your goals are for that particular time period are also going to indicate how you should be using the tools to do that. And so ultimately, what you need to do to support your goals is to ask two questions. One, based on what we've looked at today already in terms of reviewing what we're doing, are there things that you may need to implement, something that you're not doing? Maybe you need to update your website. Maybe you need to pick a focus channel. Again, I'll mention that more in a moment. Or maybe you need to automate some things. Or are there things that you can improve on? So maybe you're already doing something and you hear something here today that, hey, I want to grow more of my contacts. I want to get more sales from my website or my online store. Maybe you want to get more end of year donations. Whatever the case may be, these are the things that we're going to drive how you attack the issue. Okay. Now, here are some things that you can plan on that make sense no matter what your specific goals, because they help support those goals in the future. So the first thing here I want to mention is a mobile responsive website. And I'm going to talk specifically about your homepage. So there's essentially 4 questions that you need to answer on your homepage to make it effective for you. The first is, what is it? The second, who is it for? The third, so what? And the fourth is, what should they do next? And so if we look at the example on the screen here, we see that it's Andolini's Pizzeria. So we know what it is. And who is it for? Well, we can see underneath that it says Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right. So we know it's for people in the Tulsa, Oklahoma region. So what? Well, if we look at the imagery on the website, it's indicating to us that this is going to be a place that sells fresh ingredients, right? The food and the pizza is going to be made in that style. And so it gives us an idea of like, oh, this is the type of thing you're looking for. This is the place for you. And then ultimately, what should they do next? Well, start your order is the big call to action there. And on that button, you can choose a location to get started. Okay, so that's how you really think about answering these questions for your potential customers on your website. Now, the other thing I'll mention is that you do want to entice them on your website to provide contact information, because once they leave your website, well, you've got no way to influence whether or not they'll come again unless you have that contact information. And so the reasons why people sign up are to receive promotions and discounts. Maybe it's an exclusive content like a guide or a checklist, something like that in relation to your business, or really just to show support of a local business within their community. The other thing I'll mention here is make sure you're doing those things to capture that information. And so Andolini's has a pop-up that comes up on their site, and they offer some free garlic knots. So people just enter their email address, and then what happens? Well, they go to their inbox and they get a welcome email. And this is something that you'll want to remember to do as well. When people sign up, you can automate that direct follow-up and start building those relationships with your contacts. That means these automations are always working for you as well. So if somebody signs up today, next week, or 3 months from now, they're going to get that same experience, and you don't have to do anything other than set up that automation. You want to send this immediately after someone signs up. This allows you to really engage with new subscribers on their schedule automatically. And you can even consider adding more emails to the series to let them know the things that they need to know about your business to start building those relationships. And so Andolini's offered those free garlic knots. And so the first thing you do is get an email from Andolini's that is, you did it. And we're not kidding. See what they did there? And so it gives them that offer that they entice them to sign up with. Now, some other things I'll mention here is that you also have opportunities to engage at key moments with automation. And so birthdays, anniversaries, and abandoned carts, these are all good communications to automate. These are things that are based on dates or things that are based on, of course, your shopping cart integration. Now, you may also be wondering, should you send a text message instead of an email? And so let me give you an example here. So let's say you wanted to send something for someone's birthday. Well, let's say 2 days before the birthday, you decide, I'm going to send them a little something to say happy birthday, maybe entice them to come to the store to shop. Well, if they're subscribed to the SMS path, the text path, you can send them an SMS. If they're not, you can send them an email instead. So how do you decide whether or not you should send that email or that SMS? Well, it really boils down to figuring out and asking yourself some questions. A text is better suited when the information that you're sending is very timely, when it's going to be very much of interest to the person receiving it, and it should feel conversational and it should feel personal, because this is how we use that channel. And so if we look at the example on the screen here, we see Hearts and Tails Animal Rescue. Hi, Nancy, we still need 20 volunteers for our picnic on Saturday. You can sign up here. So you can imagine we're being personal by using the person's name. We're being conversational by and personal as well, but also we're highlighting a timely need, and it's relevant because this is going to the list of people that are volunteers. And so this is how you can decide whether or not it's better to send a text message. The other thing I'll mention is you should plan on including two types of emails in your strategy: promotional and non-promotional. What's the difference? Well, promotional emails are emails that are promoting some type of offer, right? They usually have a time sensitivity to them. So it's something like a discount or an event or something like that. And those non-promotional emails are really emails that are really looking to add value, right? You're sharing education, you're sharing information, things that the person receiving them will find interesting or fun or something that they'll want to engage with. Why do you need both of these types of emails? Well, the reality is not everyone is ready to buy something all of the time. And so these two types of emails allow you to keep your business top of mind when somebody isn't ready to buy, so that they'll think of you when they are ready to buy. And plus, you don't want to be sending just promotional emails all the time, because people will get tired of that. And it's like that friend who's always asking you, to do favors for them, but they never show up when you need them, right? It's that kind of idea. So you want to use a mix of these things. You may also be wondering, well, how often should you send emails? Well, the answer to that, of course, is it depends. And it depends on a few things here. It really depends on you finding the best frequency for you, your business, and the audience that you're speaking with. And so you'll want to consider the audience, and really the frequency should match the need. And so maybe you've got a consistent newsletter that you send out, but there may be times where something comes up where you'll want to send more messages more frequently, or as you start segmenting or breaking your list down into smaller groups, you can actually start to send more frequently as well, because you're sending more frequent information. So send at least once a month. And for those promotional emails, think about giving people multiple opportunities to take up the offer. So send an announcement, a reminder, and a last chance. Now, when it comes to social, you really want to think about matching your approach to the social channel. Every channel is a little bit different, and it's not about copying and pasting the same thing to each of these. You want to lean into the strengths. We recommend that you focus on one channel at a time. Find one that makes the most sense for you, that you can manage. Learn how to do that one channel really well and what works there, then start to layer on that. Because if you try to do everything all at once, you ultimately end up spinning your wheels and not really getting much in return for it. So this is why we recommend start one place and build from there. On social, you want to make sure you're focusing your efforts so you're not just wasting time, but you're actually doing things to drive awareness for your business, provide customer service, and getting people to engage with that content, because that's all things that are going to, one, show people what it's like to be a customer of yours, or the personality of your business. You're going to be able to help people there, and you're also going to be getting more people to engage, which means more people will come into your fold. Occasionally, let people know that they can sign up for your email list, and you'll want to give them reasons why, and make sure that you include a link from your social profiles as well. So here's an example. On LinkedIn, I will once in a while reference that I have an email list that people can sign up for, an email newsletter that I send twice a week. I let people know, here's where you can find it. Dear Handmade Life, this is Nicole Stevenson that I mentioned earlier. She includes a link in her Instagram profile that has a tree here that has a link directly to her newsletter sign up. So these are all ways you're making sure, again, to move people closer to your business. Now, the other thing I'll mention here is that we want to use these channels to support each other. So don't just say the same thing on each channel, but rather support the theme with the content appropriate to that channel. So let me give you an example here. On social, I was using LinkedIn. That's my primary social channel. And I set up a poll about text marketing, and I was trying to figure out if people were interested in using that for their business. And so I did a poll because that works really well on LinkedIn. Then in an email, my newsletter, I would follow up with more information talking about the same idea of SMS, but include a link in there to a webinar and other articles on SMS marketing that we had available to people. And then the day of the webinar, I would use text marketing to remind those people that registered that here's the link and this is where they should go, so I could increase attendance, right? Again, leaning into the strengths of each of these channels to support the general theme, but do something specific that works for those channels. So the big thing to remember here as you start to put your plan together is your goals are going to set that strategic plan. Ultimately, you're going to make sure that you're trying to capture email addresses and mobile numbers, because that's information that you own, and you'll be able to use that in the future to help you with your marketing efforts. And then remember, consistency is a big key with any type of marketing effort. So you'll want to communicate regularly across these channels. Now, how do we execute these simple actions to start to help you boost your marketing productivity? Well, in yoga, the first step is really getting into the car and driving to the studio. We call it auto asana. And in marketing, it's really about making the plan to execute on the things that you have to do. And so, as I've been saying things here today, hopefully you've written down some things that you find interesting or something that you might want to try. Circle 3 of those things that we've talked about here today as things that you might want to work on. And then what I would like you to do is choose one and then make a plan for that particular thing. This is the thing that's most important to you. Then, once you've put your plan together, you need to prioritize that work in your calendar. This is what it really takes to get things done. You're probably going to learn a lot of great things here at the conference today. And really, to take on action on any of them, you have to prioritize them and make time to do the work. Now, as you're doing this work, make sure you're regularly checking in to review your reports and track your progress. See what's happening. Are people engaging with the content that you're putting out there? Are people opening your emails? Are they clicking on things, right? Are they actually doing the things that you want them to do? Make sure you're looking at all of that so you can then look back and make adjustments as necessary. The other thing that I'll mention here is that it's really important to use the technology that's available to you today to boost your productivity. So many of the tools that you're using to connect with your customers also connect to each other in the form of integrations. So find out which ones do and then connect those integrations. This could mean syncing data, contacts, images, and more. For example, Constant Contact integrates with Canva. And typically, what do we do with Canva, right? We go to Canva, we create an image, we download it to our computer, we upload it back up, and then we create this system of things, or it's multiple steps that we have to do. But through the integration, you can find all your Canva integrations already in your account and add them to your emails. And so take advantage of those things. Another thing is many tools include some type of AI component, and these tools can save you time by helping you create content for your campaigns so you no longer have to stare at that blinking cursor with not knowing what to write. Constant Contact also recently launched a campaign builder, so you can spend less time figuring out your marketing and get back to what you'd rather be doing. You let it know your goal, and it helps you create a plan in minutes for what you should be doing with your marketing efforts. Again, we talked a little bit about automation. Look for those opportunities to automate communications where possible. Automation really allows you to be more timely and relevant with your messages because they go to the right people at the right time. Now, if we review here, it's really all about thinking what you need to do to grow your business. And you'll want to decide on what you need to focus on. Use your calendar to prioritize that work, and then use technology to save you time. Some final thoughts here for you as we close. Now, you may be wondering, how did I do on that yoga challenge? Well, you need to really keep making sure you're marching towards those goals. And I missed it by 24 the first time that I did this. So I did 156 total classes. Now, the reality is I never would have done that many classes if I didn't set this goal to begin with. And so make sure you are setting those goals and looking and tracking and seeing how you're moving towards them, because putting them in place will get you further than if you didn't have them. And I don't know if you noticed this at all, but this says consistent practice is the key to changing your life under the headline there. And I want to leave you with this thought. Consistent marketing is the key to changing your business. Put time in your schedule to review, plan, and execute your marketing efforts. It's by taking the time to do these things that you'll get your business to the next level. Well, my friend, continued success to you and your business. Thank you for spending some time here with me today. I hope you found this information helpful. Thanks.